with us. I also like to say thank you to MTN for hosting us in their beautiful edifice. It's one of the buildings I wish I could take home, but that is not possible. We're looking at why marriages fail, why they fail. And I said I'm going to run you through 10 factors, 10 reasons. For each of them, I will give you some ideas as to how we can avoid them. The first is expectations. The first reason why marriages fail and relationships fail, expectations. We all dream of the kind of marriage and home we want. Often the marriages are based on the following. Sometimes the expectations are based on the following. One, a positive example or model that you've come across. Either you like the way your parents are living, or some relatives or some couple in church, and you want to emulate them. You want your marriage to be like them. They come to church together, and you want, so you tell yourself, me, when I marry, my husband and I, my wife and I would have to go to church together. Then the second source of expectations, a negative example. You come across a very terrible marriage in the neighborhood, or even maybe your own parents, and you look at some of the manifestations of how terrible it is, and you decide, me, this kind of marriage, I would never want it. And so that becomes it forms your expectation based on the negative example. Books, what we read in books, especially novels, have a way of all making us dream of a certain kind of romantic, have a certain kind of romantic experience. And with books, I add films. They also create those kinds of expectations. Then sometimes the expectations of our parents and of our friends and society. Sometimes your parents tell you the kind of expectations they have for your marriage, and then you struggle to try to live it. No matter what the source of your expectations are, I think you need to understand that your expectations, if they are not realistic, can trip you up. They can mess you up. So you've got to have expectations. So what's the solution? Forget about whatever expectations you go into marriage with, because you see, you had those expectations without your partner. He also has his expectations, and those expectations may run counter to yours, and that could bring issues. So your expectations, realistic expectations, are the ones based on who you are, who your partner is, on your circumstances, and on what is comfortable for both of you. Not for one of you, for both of you. How do you arrive at that? You arrive at that by talking, negotiating, compromising. So that's the first thing that can mess you up, expectations, especially if they are unrealistic. The second are myths about love and marriage that we all have accepted as fact, but they are just myths. They don't apply. But we all believe that in a marriage, these things must happen. In a love relationship, you must see these things. So let me run you through a few of these myths. The first, love is all that matters. Get married with that, and life will beat it out of you. Love is not all that matters. Love takes much more. Marriage takes much more than love. Courtship, yes, you can look for love, but in marriage, many things come. And I think in one of our presentations, we dealt with that. The second myth is that love is an intent. It will come naturally. No, it doesn't come naturally. It is a skill that you've got to learn, especially in marriage. You've got to learn it. Another myth, if you love me, you would accept everything about me. Total acceptance. Listen, you yourself, you don't accept everything about you. Why should I be the one to accept everything about you? Sometimes I hear people say, love me, love my dog. If I'm a cat person, don't tell me that. Can I also tell you, love me, love my cat, if you are not a cat person? No, these are myths, and then we go in with them. Another myth, if I find true love, I will never be lonely again. Listen, loneliness is part of a human experience. It will never leave you. You will never get out of it. The good thing in marriage is that you'll still be lonely, but you'll be lonely in the company of another person. I don't know if it makes sense to you. But as for being lonely, yes, you would be. So you've got to learn to deal with your loneliness. So these are just a few of the myths about love and marriage that we all have accepted, and they mess us up because we try to see them in our relationship. They don't come, and then we think we've made a mistake, and then we move away. 3, remember, I am giving you 10 points on the reasons why marriages fail. So I am on number 3. The false perceptions of other people's marriages. Listen, we forget that people are good actors. And sometimes the picture a couple presents to us is not the true situation in their home. You know, there are couples that you see them and their hands are around each other and they are touchy in public. Trust me, at home, that may not be the situation at all. But you look at them and you look at your own relationship and you think, my man never touches me. My wife never kisses me in public, so I've got a bad deal. And then you begin to get discontent. Hey, if you knew what is happening in somebody's marriage, you'll thank God for yours. So, don't, let me give you this story. One of my adopted daughters was admitted at Kolebu after a surgical operation. And she was in the same ward with this other young lady whose husband came to visit her every day. Came in the morning and came in the evening. Her husband came every other day. That's my daughter's husband. Came every other day. And even then, he had to call and say, are you coming today? And so, right through her admission, she envied the marriage of this girl whose husband comes to visit her twice a day. Then they are discharged. A week later, she calls her ward mate, as it were, to find out how things were going. And this is what the girl says. My husband picked me, dropped me at home and said he'll be back. And it's been 2 weeks, I haven't seen him. He hasn't come back. You know, she was putting pressure on me every day. Look at my friend, but the reality in it. So let's be careful what conclusions we come to when we look at other people's marriages. Remember, human beings are very good actors. They will not join a drama troupe. They will never do a film, but they are better than the film stars we celebrate. Every one of us is, including you. So be careful what you copy. 4, yielding to societal pressure. Many of us marry when we don't really feel like it. We really weren't convinced we should marry. Minus the pressure society put on us, we wouldn't have gotten married at all. The trouble with that is that it tends to make us settle for less than the kind of person we really need, the kind of person we really want. So let's watch it. If you are not married and you are listening, don't let people push you into getting married, especially if you're a lady. And they say, oh, you are keeping too long. What are you waiting for? When are you going to get married? Ask them a simple question. Have a simple formula. Ask them, show me a husband store, and I'll go and buy one for myself. And remember, the people who have good marriages, they don't force other people. They don't put pressure. If you find somebody putting pressure, that person has a terrible marriage. And does not understand why you are so free. Marry so that you can have tales of woe to tell. Why should you be free? 5, no training, no preparation for marriage. Listen. What would you say if you're going for a medical procedure and then somebody walks in and says, hi, I'm the doctor. And I said, doc, which medical school did you go to? So, no, I didn't think medical school is necessary. I've seen doctors at work on television. I've read novels of doctors at work. I have a classmate who is a doctor. So I think I should be able to operate on you. Would you allow yourself to be operated on by this man? I suspect many of us will jump and run and go and report that imposter. So, or what would you say if you're getting into a plane, you're going on a flight, and the pilot comes on the way and said, ladies and gentlemen, this is Captain, I call myself Captain so and so. I've never flown a plane before, but I drive a car. And it is all vehicle. It's all about transportation. So I think I can also pilot this the plane. I suspect you quickly get down. So why do we think that in some of these areas we need training? But when it comes to marriage, we don't need any training. That because I have attained a certain age, I should naturally be able to make marriage work. It is not right. It is not true. Marriage, to make your marriage work, it requires a certain set of skills. You've got to acquire them. You've got to be exposed to them. You've got to learn them. Otherwise, you would have one hell of a marriage. You'll make yourself miserable. You'll make your partner miserable. And this platform has been created for just that purpose, to create a platform for all of us every week to pick a lesson or two, to get an idea or two as to how we can make our marriages work better. 6, remember we are still looking at why marriages fail. I said I'm going to give you 10 points. I've given 5. I'm on my 6th point now. Loss of attraction. Loss of attraction. Listen, it is the reality of marriage that it gets to a certain point when your partner doesn't excite you anymore. Your husband touches you and you feel irritation. You enter the bedroom and your wife is lying on the bed naked and it puts you off. The attraction is gone. Now, or you don't excite your partner anymore. It happens. It doesn't mean the love is gone. Let's not make that. The person could still love you, but the truth is that he doesn't feel attracted to you anymore. That is at the point where many people begin to look outside. Because whilst you don't find your partner attractive or he doesn't find you attractive, there are plenty out there that he finds attractive. What is the way out? This thing tends to happen when one partner neglects in making investment in himself or herself. You've got to continue to make investment in yourself. You've got to continue looking good. Sometimes we marry and then we let ourselves go and we think, well, I've got what I want. Why should I? No, you are in competition with everybody out there. So continue to work hard at being attractive, dress well. Your hair, do your hair, especially the ladies. Because if you do Rasta, for instance, and you don't attend to it for a long time, it may give your husband sleepless nights because of the scent. So take care of that. The young men, come to bed smelling nice. Take your bath. And if you are the kind of appointee who doesn't want to take your bath, at least use face towel. Clean certain parts of your body so that you come to bed smelling nice. When you are leaving home, look good. Let your spouse be able to look at you and say, yeah, that's the person I married, yeah, and give you thumbs up. Don't let us neglect ourselves. Don't let us take our relationships for granted. 7, our society's very deceptive, defective concept of marriage. Our concept of marriage in Ghana in particular is very flawed. It is extremely flawed. And it's the reason why marriages in Ghana don't work. I've counseled a number of couples who, they were doing very well outside Ghana. As soon as they came to Ghana, everything went basa. Again, because of our concept. It is a concept that says marriage is only good for making babies. So as soon as you've got your children, that's it. You fulfilled your expectations, move out of it, or don't pay attention to it. That, our concept, the couple never belong to each other. This is Ghana. That your wife belongs to her family, you continue to belong to your people. We never understand the biblical concept that for this reason, a man will leave his mother and father, and the two shall be joined together and become one flesh. It's the reason why your a wife is never regarded as part of the husband's family. If she goes with the husband to the husband's hometown, she'll be regarded as a stranger, as a guest, and vice versa. If the man also accompanies, all because we don't understand that this, as soon as we marry, we have become the core family now. We belong to each other. But our Ghanaian society doesn't understand that. That's why your in-laws can come into your home and throw their weight around and tell you, after all, this is our brother's house. No, that's your brother and the wife's house. You are in somebody else's house. Behave yourself. 8, the absence of basic courtesy and respect. The absence of basic courtesy and respect. Sometimes it's amazing. We tend to treat strangers with more respect than we treat our spouses. We are nicer to people we have just met on the street than with our spouses. I don't understand it, and it doesn't make sense. So, let's run through a few of the basic things that you shouldn't do if you respect your partner. Don't raise your voice when you are speaking with your partner, and don't raise your voice ever at your spouse. Do not keep doing what your partner says, I don't like. If your partner doesn't want sound at a high volume, keep it low. It won't kill you. Don't put other people above your spouse. And sometimes we do that. We are spending so much time with people who are not our spouse on the phone. And our spouse is sitting there feeling all neglected. You are putting somebody above your spouse. And that is a no, no, no. Or giving attention to somebody outside your marriage when you haven't given the same level of attention to your spouse. There are marriages where somebody calls, a third party calls, and the party gets up and is moving and is running. Meanwhile, if the spouse had called for that attention, he would not have received it. Put the phone away when you are with your partner. Put the phone away. I think it would be a fantastic thing if couples, as soon as they get home, will put off their phone and give each other their undivided attention. It's unfortunate that the phone is taking over a lot of our homes. Never put down your spouse in public. Never do it. Or before the children. Never do it. And don't be mean. Don't be rude to your partner. 9. Another reason why marriages fail, they fail because only one partner is growing. Only one partner is growing. There are people who, as soon as they get married, they let go intellectually, they let go as far as society is concerned, they let go spiritually, they let go professionally. They don't aspire to become anything more than just being a wife or just being a father or being a spouse. No, that is not good enough. They come home and all they do is to watch television or stay on their phone. They add no value to themselves. When you do that, the other party begins to grow. He becomes a different person than you. He has moved on. It works when both of you grow, when both of you are constantly stretching yourselves, constantly pushing back the frontiers of your lives and climbing in your career, climbing in your profession. Spiritually, you are getting deeper and deeper. Society, in terms of social society, you are broadening your network so that you are exposed to a lot more than what occurs at home. That helps. And then finally, 10. Marriages don't work when the parties put their children ahead of each other. It is unfortunate that in Ghana, as soon as children come in, they take over all the attention. That is not good enough. Never forget that your children are guests in your home. One day, they will leave you and your wife. They will move on. So, do not raise them to the exclusion of each other. Give them attention, yes, because you are responsible parents. But over and above that, remember that the one you go into death with is your spouse. Don't neglect your spouse. Don't ever think that your children are more important than the man or the woman who gave them to you. If you ever feel that your children are more important than your spouse, what you have is not a marriage. What you have is a poultry farm. And you've made your spouse a layer and laying eggs for you. No, not a layer. Which one is our? Yeah, layer, eh? Or a breeder. Well, those are 10 points that we've just looked through. Let me make a quick run through and then we can then take our break. I've said 1, unrealistic expectations. 2, myths about love and relationships that we've all accepted as truth. 3, false perception of other people's marriages. And I've said, remember, people are actors. 4, yielding to societal pressure to get married. 5, not paying attention to training or preparation for marriage. And I'm saying that nobody prepares us for it, but we need a certain set of skills. Loss of attraction when you don't find your partner attractive or your partner does not find you attractive. 7, our society's defective concept of marriage. 8, the absence of basic courtesy and respect. 9, when only one partner is growing. And 10, putting the children ahead of your spouse. We'll take a break now. When we come back, I'll take your questions, and then we can continue with the chat. So you can, the text lines are on the screen, so you can join us. Thank you very much.